Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today's video I thought would be interesting. I hope it will be interesting for all of you. One of the things that I've been wanting to do, it's definitely been inspired by Kayla from Bookslikewhoa. She started out doing this where she was reading other booktubers' favorite books. Or book recommendations. I think it was she chose books that were recommended based on another book that they had read and they seemed similar, and she decided to check out if she could trust the booktubers. And then there is Chandler Ainsley, who is doing this taste test thing where she is reading a handful of someone's favorite books, and it's definitely towards that line. I am gonna go with this one. I've wanted to do this for quite a long time. I think it's such a fun challenge because I often follow a lot of booktubers and I always see them talk about the books that they're really excited about, and I'm always like, yeah, I would really like to read that one, and then I don't, because I forget about it. And so I thought a perfect way of trying to actually get to some of the books was to actually just do a dedicated video to some of my favorite booktubers and just read their favorite books and see if I agree with them, just to see where their taste align, not to criticize or downgrade any of their taste if I don't like them, but just in general to see if we have similar tastes and similar opinions about the different books that we read. And I have sort of 5 or 6 different booktubers in mind, but I decided to start out with Mara from Bookslikewhoa, because I feel like a lot of ways her reading tastes vibe really well with my own, because she reads such a big variety of genres, and I feel like I do that quite often as well. And I know that she unapologetically talks about her love for Nora Roberts and the In-Death series, which I never see anybody talk about her almost ever, and so that won me over when I first sort of started watching her videos. And yeah, I'm definitely personally also a big fan of Nora Roberts, but I haven't read her books in a while. But she also reads a lot of paranormal fantasy and urban fantasy stuff, and that is something I'm really happy with as well. And so I figured she had a lot of different things that worked really well with me, and I decided to try and find a favorite book of hers in all the different genres, to see if I like those books and finally push myself to read those books that I've been wanting to read. In this specific version of my video, or in this specific case, I have decided to try and find 5 books from 5 different genres, to sort of find one from each of her favorite genres or authors, and see how that goes. So I have 5 books chosen. Let's start out with the one that's actually on my physical TBR for the month in the first place, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is, I believe, her second favorite classic of all time. Her favorite classic is Jane Eyre, but I've already read that one, so I wanted to read one that I hadn't read as much. This one I read the first half of it, but I've decided to try and reread it, and I hope that I will enjoy it a lot more on my reread. So this is the first book that I'm going to be trying to read for this specific video. I will have an audio going, so I will listen to the audio and read it at the same time, because I found that works really well with classics. I have, of course, with Nalini Singh, decided to try out the Side-Changeling series and reading Slave to Sensation by Nalini Singh, which is the first book in the Side-Changeling series. This is a paranormal fantasy. I don't know if it is urban or paranormal romance type fantasy, but I will find out when I start reading it. I always thought I'd read the other one first, because I feel like this is more paranormal romance than it is urban fantasy, but I'm starting out with this one because I know she loves this series to bits. She has always been talking really highly of the Duchess War, so I decided to try out the series, or it's called the Brothers Sinister series, and the first book is called The Duchess War, and so I want to start this. This is definitely quite short, so I was happy to see that when it arrived, that it will be a quite fast read. I think that And then I have a Agatha Christie book. I'll be listening to this in audio form, and I'll be listening to And Then There Were None, because I believe this is her favorite Agatha Christie, alongside the ABC Murders and the Murder on the Orient Express. But those two books are part of the what's his name, Hercule Poirot book series, and I want to read them in order because I cannot. So I decided to go with And Then There Were None because it's a standalone. So yeah. And the last and final book on this list for me to read over the next week is The Library at Mount Char. I forgot the author's name, and I can't read it on my Kindle like little thing, so but I will make sure to write it in the card in the bottom here. This is a fantasy book that I have been really interested in reading, and she has definitely been talking really highly about it, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. I have no idea what it's about, but I know it's sort of supposed to be sort of weird fantasy and a mix of everything, and I find that really intriguing. And I have it on my Kindle and have had it for a while, so I found it would be a good time to actually read it. So those would be my 5 books. I have 3 of them in physical form, and 1 on Kindle, and 1 in audiobook form. So I'll be trying to work my way through these books in the next coming week. Hello friends, it is now Monday, and I wanted to check in with a quick update before I go to work. These are the books, the physical books that I have to read from, and then I have my Kindle and my audio. I won't be starting on my audio until later in the week. I have 2 audios that I'm still working on that I didn't get to finish last week, but it doesn't matter because the audio for And Then There Were None is not very long, so it won't take me very long to finish it. So I'm not too worried. So I don't know if I'm really going to be talking much about those 2 reads because they are not part of this reading challenge. So I will try and stick to the 5 books that I'm planning on reading for this, which is a lot because I don't usually get through 3 physical books that I have to read with my own eyes over a week, and plus a classic where I also have to sit and listen and read at the same time. So I'm definitely going to be trying to spend a lot of my time reading this next week. So yeah, I can't really decide which one to start out with. The good thing about starting out with the Kindle is that it is a fantasy. It should be pretty fast paced and get through it quickly, but I have a feeling that all of these will be pretty quick reads. I'm not sure, but there's something about the fact that The Duchess Wars is such a short book, so it might be a good one to start out with to get feel like I get a headway into this. And because it's only 248 pages, like the pages are large, but there's quite a lot of text in each, but the font is relatively large as well, so I don't think it will take me very long to finish this, and I really like the texture of this one. But there's also the fact that fantasy and paranormal romance is what I usually read the most of, so I might be able to get into that quicker, and then having this one by the end might not be as daunting as having this book to get through, which I think is the longest. So I'm a little bit unsure of what to do about that. Maybe I'll know what I feel like when I get home. So yeah. But this was my quick check-in. I'll check in later when I've actually read something and let you know what I decided to start out with. Bye! Hi guys. It is now Wednesday. I decided to check in with an update because I haven't since Monday, and I've been reading some. I haven't finished anything because I always read multiple books at the same time, so it takes a little longer for me to finish anything. But I have made progress on the Duchess Wars since. So I'm now on page 150 exactly out of 248. So I have about 100 pages left. I seem to not read this as fast as I thought I would, but I am really enjoying it. So yeah, but it's not like it's a difficult book. It's just, I don't know why I can't read faster. I read about 35 pages an hour when I read this. So that is definitely under my average. I'm still enjoying it a lot though. It follows this girl called Minerva Lane, known as Minnie. She has a secret past that you don't know about when you start this. She is sort of middle class, not high up in the ranks, and she is sort of hiding away from her maybe possible betrothed thing. And when she's hiding, she discovers that the Duke, Robert Blaisdell, is that how you say it? The Duke of Claremont, hides behind the curtain in the same room from something as well. And so this starts their acquaintance. I do really enjoy Minnie and her story. The more things that are revealed about her and her past, I really am enjoying that part. I think so far I like the Duke as well. I find that he is definitely very interesting and has a lot of things going for him. So I definitely am enjoying that. I like that it's sort of showing the perspective of a middle class person at this time, because I feel like in all of the other historical romances that I've been reading, even if there is a class difference between the romances, like the Bridgerton series, they are well liked and they are really high up in the ranks, and so none of the differences aren't that big, and so in this one there's definitely a bigger difference between the ranks of the two, and I do enjoy the sort of conversations and the discussions that they have with each other. It definitely shows some interesting perspectives, also from this time. So it was nice to see. I've also read half of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I am an hour and a half into it, and it's definitely sort of a good mystery so far. I'm definitely very intrigued, and I think that I'm very interested in what is happening on this island and why people seem to disappear and what happens to them, and how they keep dying of different for different reasons, and why, and does it happen? How does it happen? I am super intrigued about that. So yeah, so far I definitely understand why a lot of people enjoy this and why it's such a popular mystery. Let's go on to another book that I've been reading. I have started on Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I started out and I've read 35 pages, so like seriously not a lot, but I have started it. But I started out by listening to the audio by Karen Savage that I showed in my recent vlog, and the narrator has such a screechy voice that it didn't really work for me. So I went and searched for someone else, and there's a lot of productions with full casts, and I understand why, because a lot of people enjoy them, and I can, and obviously it's fun with a lot of different voices for each of the characters, but I often found it more confusing and more, for me, I don't get into the audio as well if I listen to a full cast as I do if I listen to just a random narrator. And then I saw that another version was narrated by Margaret Gavin. Margaret Gavin narrates the Hollow series by Kim Harrison, so I'm already familiar with her way of narrating, though it is slightly longer than the one by Karen Savage. I don't mind too much, because the voice works so much better, and I rather would listen to a narrator that I enjoy listening to. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So this was my update for today. I will get back to you with an update maybe tomorrow, This weekend I'm going to be slightly busy. I will have my nephew's birthday is on Sunday, and because of the restrictions in Denmark having been changed for a while now, we are allowed to gather up to, like, we've always been allowed to gather up to 10 people, but in the beginning I think things were more strict, and considering none of us has had any things that would suggest that we've been exposed to the coronavirus in any way, we are going to go to my sister's summer house for a sleepover from Saturday to Sunday. It's a big summer house where you can have 15 people, so we can have a room each, so none of us have to sleep in the same room unless they already sleep in the same room, like my parents, my sister and her boyfriend and my nephew. So all of others will be able to sleep in our own bedroom, so there's no chance of us getting too close in that way. And it was just easier for us to go there to celebrate his birthday, because my sister's is currently living in a small apartment that's smaller than mine, and so having us all there was a bigger risk, and more difficult in general. And considering the summer house is currently free because there's no tourists coming here, and it's difficult lending out the big summer houses right now, she decided she could just use that for her benefits, and so I'm really looking forward to it. It's really close to the West Coast. I hope I can film something from there. I think it's gonna be fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun times. I'm going to have to wrap some gifts because I have some extra gifts that I am giving my nephew. I am my nephew's godparent, so even if I am, I've been buying a present with my sister and my brother, I bought a little extra thing because of that. And of course I bought books. I can actually show them to you. I'll just find them. So one of the first things that my nephew knew, like the first things that he was aware of, was the puppy dog pals. I think that's what they're called in English. Yeah, from Disney Junior. He watched this from when he was, I can't even remember, when he was aware. He was able to, my sister would just put on Disney Junior in the morning when he was waking up, and there would be puppy dog pals. And I remember he had this shirt, and he got the shirt, and we would ask, where is the puppy dog pals? And he would like point on his shirt because he knew that was it. and obviously then later when after he had changed, because he was, we don't know why, but I think it might be because he was such an active kid very early on that he sped up a lot. Nice, right? So he had changed his shirt later, and we'd ask again, and he would still point down, and he would be confused about where the dogs were now, because he definitely knew that he had been wearing that shirt early on, so that's fun. But anyway, so I got this because it was them, and it is actually a really cute cartoon series that goes with these two pugs and a cat, and their owner, who is like an inventor type guy, and they have a lot of adventures they go to, so I figured it would be a fun thing. It does says that this is from 3 to 6 year olds, so I don't know if it's a little too early, but he has been like looking at picture books that since he was like, I don't know, since forever, since he was able to crawl and just move around. And I also got another one that is also another Disney Junior thing, which is a Vampirina. Vampirina is also a really cute cartoon that goes on Disney Junior. It follows a little vampire and her parents, and it's extremely fun and cute. And these were like nothing almost, so I decided to get both of them because I think that fit pretty well with what I wanted to give for something extra. But these two books were bought for me from my nephew, so I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hello friends, it is now Saturday. I wanted to check in with an update because I haven't yesterday and Thursday. Thursday was busy. I came home pretty late from work, and then I had a hangout with some booktube friends, Aurea, Linnea and Katie, who I have been reading in a reading group with, and it was really fun having that hangout. So we are definitely going to try and do that again. So that was great, and it also meant that I didn't read very much that day, except I did manage, since I last spoke to you, to finish The Duchess War by Courtney, Milan, and I definitely really enjoyed it. I have a difficult time deciding on a rating. I was really into the majority of this. There were some moments of this that the pace slowed a little bit too much for my liking in terms of how much was happening and sort of that. But I loved the characters, and I loved how what was said and what was the discussions that was in this and all of that. So it's definitely a 4 stars, but I don't know if it's higher. So I highly recommend this. It's a fun historical romance, and it's different than other historical romances that I've read. So I definitely understand the merit that Courtney Milan has gotten for her historical romances. So I'm definitely going to be reading more from this author and from this series. So I'm happy I finished it. Another book that I've also finished is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I finished that. I think I finished that on Thursday, and I also really enjoyed that. I thought the ending was really good. I thought the reveal was good, and I thought how it was revealed was amazing. I definitely understand why this book is so popular amongst mystery readers, because it was so well thought out. At the time, it must have been extremely refreshing to read this. I think a lot of people have tried and done something similar now, because a lot of people are inspired by Agatha Christie and her way of writing mysteries. So yeah, definitely enjoy this one. And I think my rating is a 4 stars as well for this one. So I'm happy I read this. I think this was better than the other Agatha Christie I've read. The other Agatha Christie I read, I wasn't really a mystery in the same sense. So I'm really happy I actually discovered her actual mystery, and the fact that it was a standalone was also really good, so that I didn't have to think about continuing a series right now. I have also been working a little bit on Slave to Sensation by Singh. I have now read the first 42 pages, so I read a couple of chapters this morning, but I have been dealing with a lot of headaches yesterday and today, so I haven't really been reading very much. It's a little better now, so I think I'm going to be reading for an hour now before I have to start packing and get lunch, and I have some laundry that has to be hung up to dry before I leave for my sister's summer house where we're going to be celebrating my nephew. I'll bring along the camera and try and film some footage, and you can see what fun we have. So this was this update, and yeah, I'll go and read a little bit in Slave to Sensation. Actually, my thought so far is that I am enjoying it. It is so interesting. I'm already really hooked to the characters, and I think they both are really interesting. We've been told that size are not shouldn't be able to feel. They shouldn't be able to have emotional feelings towards anything. So, but our main character, strangely, is able to sense some feelings, and she feels like she's out of the norm because she can suddenly feel. She has emotions. She has opinions. She likes things and stuff. And then we have Lucas, who is a panther shifter, and he's like an alpha, and he's so cute. There was a scene with these two pups, like they were little panther babies, and it was so cute. So yeah, I'm into this one so much, and this is, yeah, I think it's going to be a really good book. So yeah, this is my update. Talk to you later. Bye. Ui, er det en traktor? Ja. Er det bus? Og det er Woody. Er det bus? Er det bus? Og Woody, ja. Og bus?
Woody. Nej, det er ikke bus. Ja, det er din.
Er det din, ja? Ej, nu skal vi lige kigge. Ja, det er bare
Man kan også vente dem.
ja. Ja, traktor. Det er godt. I dag er det Busters fødselsdag. Hurra, hurra, hurra. Han sikrer sig en gave, for som han har ønsket sig, om med dejlig chokolade og kager til.
Kan du lidt puste? Kan du puste lige ud? Puste.
Nej, en gang mere. En gang mere. Tættere på. Hi guys, it is now Thursday the next week. I don't think I've done an update this week at all. Have I done an update since Sunday? I'm not sure. But I wanted to check in because I have actually finally finished something else for this vlog. I decided instead of checking in with every day, it will be much too long considering how much time I'm taking apparently with this vlog. So don't know what happened to my nose, but I finished Slave to Sensation this morning, and I'm not sure what I'm going to rate this. It's definitely going to be pretty high. It's definitely a 4 stars at least, if it's not a little more. But it follows these two groups of people. On the one hand we have the Singh, who has sort of telekinesis or telepathic powers, so something to do with the psychic bonds. Something happened in 1979, I think, so that's what I think. It's actually set in 2079. So in 1979 the Singh decided that they couldn't show emotions, so they claim that because they have no sense of emotions, they have no empathy, they have no emotions, no crimes, nothing, none of them would do anything horrendous, like, because they wouldn't have jealousy, they wouldn't have hate, they wouldn't have any of that, so no, they wouldn't be doing any crimes. On the other hand, we have the changelings, which can be wolves, or in this case we are following a panther shifter who's the alpha of this leopard pack. And we follow the perspective of Duchess, who is the alpha of this leopard pack, and we follow Sasha, who is a Singh, but she knows there's something up with her because she is able to sense emotions, and there's a lot of talk about her reasons for being able to do that later, but I won't say more about that. She is trying to hide the fact that there's something up with her. Like, the Singh sort of know that she doesn't have an affinity for telekinesis or telepathy, or there's something else like medical. I think those 3 are the main things, and she doesn't have any of that, so they know that there's something off with her, but she's trying to do some good, so she is chosen to build bridges or something with the changelings. She's supposed to do a sort of help with constructing some buildings or something, and in that way she comes into contact with Duchess, and sort of romantic feelings start to evolve, which is something completely new to her, obviously. I ended up really enjoying it. I thought both parts of this world was really interesting. I do enjoy shifter pack dynamics, but the Singh elements were really interesting. I really enjoyed both characters, even though I felt like Duchess at times could be a little too alpha. There's definitely places where, and things that he said that was a little annoying, but I did enjoy the majority of the characters in this. It was really interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading on in the series. And I understand why Mara really likes this, because it does have some a lot of like political topics, especially surrounding the Singh, and there's a lot of the dynamics, friend dynamics in the pack is really interesting, and then there's also a sort of mystery going on, so it has a lot of things going for it, and I'm looking forward to see how the world and the themes expand as the series goes on. And I'm looking forward to see who the next book will follow, if it's going to be a wolf shifter or something in the next one, because we were introduced to a wolf pack, so it could definitely happen. So I'm happy to say that at least I finished something, and I'm currently also working obviously still on Pride and Prejudice. I made a little bit of progress today, not a lot, but I'm on page 111. I just went by the espresso house to get a coffee. They just opened again this week, and I didn't think that this would be open today because it's a holiday, it's a long weekend. Or well, not for everyone, because tomorrow is not a holiday, and so some people have to work. I also had to work if I didn't take the day off, because I just felt like, why not take a long weekend when you're able to. So I decided to take that day off, and I have these 4 days. And so now I'm going to be diving into the next book, Library of Char, and see how much I can get through that today. I will also try and see if I can't listen to more of Pride and Prejudice as the days go on, but I sort of want to go out. The weather is really nice today, so I already went for a small walk, but I think I'm gonna head to my parents and I can read there, so it's no problem. But I will get back to my coffee and I will check in with you later when I have something to update you, hopefully a lot sooner than last time, because I hope to finish these last books soon. So yeah, bye. Hello friends, it is now Sunday and I just finished the last 2 books today, so I wanted to do my final update for this vlog. First things first, I finished Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is a classic, obviously. I've tried reading it before and didn't really love it then, and I haven't changed my opinion much since then. So I sadly didn't love this one as much as I thought I would, and I was hoping I would. I don't know what it is that just didn't grab my attention too much. I liked the ending, I liked parts of it. There are some of the scenes that were really good, and I understand sort of the merit, I guess. But frankly, I was just a little bit bored while I was reading it. The characters weren't as exciting to me as I was hoping, so it was a little bit difficult for me to keep my interest high enough. But I'm happy I read it so that I have it out of the way, but I don't know where it falls. Maybe still under 3 stars. I think that's more or less where it is. I do recognize some good things that it did, but I wasn't overly impressed with it either. Like, in terms of it, the story just didn't capture me as a reader as much as I was hoping it would. I don't know, this was maybe it's difficult to say, but it was too contemporary for its time, I guess. There's not a lot of things happening, it was just everyday thing. I'm a little bit picky about my contemporaries, so it sounds weird because it's set in the 1800s, so it's not contemporary, but you know, it's sort of, I just needed something more. The other thing that I've also finished now is the Library of Char. Now that is a whole other ball game. That is completely different and has nothing in common with any of the other things that I've been reading. It is honestly one of the strangest things that I've ever read, but I was highly entertained through the whole thing. I'm not sure if I can give you a complete synopsis of what was going on. I'm not sure if I can explain what this was about, and yeah, Library of Char, let's try. Library of Char is a book about, we follow a girl named Caroline who has some odd things around her, and you don't know what she's up to and why she's doing the things she does and what anyone has to do, why anyone has to do, and why they're doing things until the very end. And even then you can still be a little bit confused about what you just read. And that's just sort of what I've been feeling like all the time that I was reading it. But it was written in such an interesting way that I was always intrigued about what was going to happen next. And I was really into this in a weird way. Carolyn, the main character, was not likable in the sense that you're just rooting for her because she was such a good character, but she was just so interesting, and you just wanted to find out what she was up to. And then there's Steve, a side character that was also really interesting, and you didn't know why Carolyn did a lot of stuff to make sure that he didn't die. And it was just really interesting. Overall, I just enjoy this one a lot. I don't know exactly my rating. I literally just finished it, so I'm still mulling over it. But I'm definitely on 4 stars at least. But I don't know if it's higher. I'll have to check in with my Copilot rating system to see and finally give you a final rating later. But I definitely find that this has been a successful reading vlog in terms of the quality of what I've been reading. It was a really fun experience getting to read some of these books that I have seen Mara from Bookslikewhoa talk about so many times, and now I know where she's coming from with the different discussions. And overall, I just think that with the exception of Pride and Prejudice, all of them got at least a 4-star rating. So that is definitely great. So I'm overall really impressed with the books that I've read over the past week or so. So yeah, this was this not week's vlog because it took me 2 weeks to read them, but this was this vlog, and let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this idea, and if you enjoyed yourself while hearing about my thoughts over the couple of weeks. Had you guessed at any time that I was doing this, because I have left hints here and there about the books that I was reading in my haul. I mentioned 2 books because I hauled them, and in my latest wrap-up I talked about how I was reading Pride and Prejudice. And I also left a Goodreads update about the Library at Mount Char yesterday, so I don't know if anyone caught up to why I was reading what I was reading, but I don't think necessarily anyone did. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Mara for inspiring this video, and thank you to anyone who stayed along to the end. And yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video soon. Bye.